Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off talking about some pretty big news. We've talked about this one before, but now it has officially launched. RetroAchievements is proud to announce support for its 52nd console, the GameCube. Yes, RetroAchievements is now available on Dolphin. Now, it's worth pointing out that this is for the standalone version of Dolphin. The Dolphin core over on RetroArch does not support RetroAchievements, and I don't envision it supporting RetroAchievements anytime soon. And that's just due to the way the Dolphin core is coded for RetroArch. If you are curious about this one and wanted to learn more about it, I'll drop a link to the Dolphin blog in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. It has instructions on how to do absolutely everything. And on a side note here, it's got Discord-rich presence support and even more. Now, if you're wondering about Wii RetroAchievements, apparently they may be in the works. They say right here, yes, both sides are open to it and somewhere down the line work will begin. But right now, the focus is getting GameCube RetroAchievements working and continuing to address various issues and limitations post-launch. Now, for Dolphin on Android, they say if you're an Android user looking forward to RetroAchievements, don't worry, it will happen. We just can't promise when yet. And fun fact, it seems that this announcement was so popular it actually crashed the RetroAchievements website. Let me know your thoughts about RetroAchievements hitting Dolphin in the comments below, and let me know your thoughts if you plan on using them. Moving on, and we're talking about PlayStation 1 emulation with Duckstation, and Duckstation just got a brand new update. So for this latest release, there's a whole bunch of fixes, optimizations, and even more. This is a very big rolling release. There's even game-specific stuff in here, for example, Breath of Fire 3. And it's worth pointing out this update is not for the Android version. The last time the Android version was updated was the end of January. On the Google Play Store, it says January 27th. And on the Duckstation website, it says January 22nd. Unfortunately, I've got no idea if Duckstation on Android is going to be receiving any updates in the near future. But at the same time here, if you're on PC, I'll drop a link to the GitHub in the description below and feel free to check it out. Moving on, and we're talking about a brand new SNES game, and this one's currently in development and looks pretty darn good, and it's being developed by Woodfrog. This is the same developer behind Mega Man The Sequel Wars, and I'll drop a link to this itch.io page in the description below in the event that you wanted to check this out. Now, the clip is only 13 seconds long over on Twitter, or X now, but you can definitely see the Mega Man inspiration here, and I'm very curious to see how this one shapes up. And speaking about games in development, we're switching from a platformer to a beat 'em up, and this is Metro Siege, and it's for the Amiga. This is currently in development, and there is a demo available. If you are curious about this one, I'll drop a link to the demo in the description below, and feel free to check it out. They do say it requires cycle-accurate emulation settings, so for WinUAE users, ensure you're using Cycle Exact Full. And continuing to speak about games in development, next up we're talking about Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. And a pre-release version of this game has reportedly leaked online. I'll drop a link to this YouTube video in the description below in the event that you wanted to see some gameplay. I've got no idea if the gameplay footage is real, but it does look convincing here, and Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 is set to release on September 9th of this year, so just around the corner. Next up, we're quickly talking about The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Now, this was announced a while back. It's an upcoming Zelda game where you play as Zelda. But maybe surprising to some people, you'll actually play as Link as well. So according to the ESRB rating here, it's got a rating of everyone 10+, and it says, as Link, players use a sword and arrows to defeat enemies. Zelda can use a magic wand to summon creatures. So there is a Link portion. I've got no idea how big the Link portion is or if it's a portion at all. So there has been some speculation out there that playing as Link will only occur on the prologue of the game, and there's also been some speculation out there that there may be a cooperative function of this game as well. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Moving on, and we're quickly talking about Linux gaming with Wine. Wine stands for Wine is not an emulator, or subscribe to Mr. Sujano, depending on how you want to interpret that. And Wine version 9.13 has just dropped here. They've added support for loading ODBC Windows drivers and also fixed some games. For example here, Victoria 2 A House Divided should no longer crash on start with built-in quartz. Lillian demo should no longer hang after the intro video. And on top of that, Full Metal Damon Muramasa should not be stuck at a black screen on boot. On top of that, there's fixes for a whole bunch more stuff, and there might even be improvements for even more games. Moving on, and we're talking about Steam, and this is arguably one of the best times of the year if you're a fighting games fan, because it's the Steam Fighting Games Fest. Right now, there's a whole bunch of good sales on a whole bunch of real good fighting games, traditional fighting games, less traditional, and even more. And there are some exceptionally good deals here, like Guilty Gear Strive and Dragon Ball FighterZ, King of Fighters 15, and even more. And speaking about good deals, next up we're talking about Intravenous, and this game is currently 100% free on Steam. Intravenous was released back in July of 2021, has very positive reviews, and is currently, well, 100% off. Moving on, and we're talking about The Sims 5 and possibly Project Renee, possibly not too sure about this at this moment, but there's a big rumor out there right now that The Sims 5 has been cancelled. So someone has been paying very close attention to Electronic Arts and employee moves and layoffs and even more. And they're saying developers from Project Renee are also starting to move on to Sims 4. There's a lot of interesting comments and screenshots over on the Reddit page, and I'll drop a link to it in the description below. It says right here, The Sims 5 Unreal Engine 5 for PS5 cancelled. So I don't know if that's the game altogether or the PS5 version of the game or something else. And again, it's worth pointing out that this is just a rumor, so nothing may be happening or something may be happening. Who knows? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Moving on, and we're talking about Mega Man again, and the trailer here for Mega Man Unlimited 2 has just dropped. If you are curious, I'll drop a link to it in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. So Mega Man Unlimited 2 is a fan game. It's the sequel to Mega Man Unlimited, and it's currently in development. They say it's going to have 8 new original robot masters and weapons, all new overdrive system, and even more. Unfortunately, I don't have any information on release date or anything like that. But if you're interested in checking out the original here, Mega Man Unlimited, I'll drop a link to this page in the description below, and feel free to check it out. But moving on, and next up we're quickly talking about PlayStation 4 emulation with, no surprise, Shad PS4. And yes, we're talking about Shad PS4 again. Another game is listed as booting and kind of playable, and that's Shenmue 2. Now admittedly here, the game is not running that great, and I think playable or even kind of playable is a bit of a stretch. Just getting in-game is probably a much better label for it. If you are curious about this one, I'll drop a link to it in the description below, and feel free to check it out. Shad PS4 keeps making improvements in leaps and bounds, and this is still version 0.1.1. And last up here is another quick one. We're talking about the Game Boy Advance and a prototype of a game that has been preserved, and that is SpongeBob's Atlantis SquarePantis. I'll drop a link to this in the description below. For those who may not be aware, SpongeBob's Atlantis SquarePantis was published by THQ, and this is a very late prototype. Reportedly here with some very minor differences compared to the final version. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.